Still Tessera for the win for fixing the Zoom thing. I told
Oh, that
Taryn when,
worked.
oh yeah, everything worked.
Yes,
Cool.
And
yes,
we talked about how amazing
yes.
you are for fixing it and just jumping in and doing all the things and how much we love you.
Glad I could help. I
Yes.
don't like to tout that I'm tech savvy, so people don't come to me,
Ooh, we did it. We're
but
live. Let me check the volume.
that's
Okay.
for live streaming. Or I got a little notice that it's
Oh,
live
yeah,
Have
streaming.
you
and
got,
there's no echo. Sweet.
I was like,
Yay.
are we sounding good?
Yep, our quality is good. We are live, people. Oh my goodness. We did it.
Woo
We did it.
woo. We
Woo!
did it.
Now how do I share this thing?
Shabash,
Yes,
That's
yes, I was
shabash.
hit. Everybody stop for a second. Hello,
woo.
hello, Crossroads, witches and other interesting magical beings. Thank y'all so much for joining us on our first Thursday of the month live chat. This is our second time doing it.
Our
Uh,
third.
Oh, it's our third time doing it. This is where we have uh, members of the House of Witchcraft join us. We talk about what's going on, and then we finish up our topic in our Zoom room where we invite all of you to come. As a first Thursday of the month, it is open to anyone. This is our way of giving back to the community. And so, as you can see, we have Tesseract who's joined us this evening. Of course, we have Lady Dana up in the corner there who will be monitoring your questions, your comments. So
Yep, we see you in
please
the chat.
text them to us. And then
Oh,
we've
yes.
got
Hi, Brandy. Hello. Brandy's the first comment in the chat, live and lovely. Thanks for joining us. Hello.
Oh, how exciting. I know it takes a couple minutes for folks to get on.
Mhm. Yep,
Once
which
they,
is why we're going a little bit longer tonight. Last two times we started at 7:30 and then we stop at 8 and then we switch over to our Zoom chat, which is I finally did learn what it's under on the app. If you go on the YouTube app and you go under the House of Witchcraft page and then under posts, that's the word, posts. It has our Zoom link, and that is where we're going to be switching over to right at 8. But yeah, we decided to start it at 7 this time instead of 7:30. See if we can get a couple more people to be joining and hanging out with us. We're just here hanging out, chilling. I'm trying to figure out how to share this because I don't know technology, so
oh,
I'm
well,
phoning in a
I
friend.
I thought, especially now, Tesseract and I both went. We just went and spent a week in Salem, Massachusetts. I don't know, at the
Yes.
Salem Witchcraft and Folklore Festival, uh, in which was absolutely amazing. Is
Yeah,
I guess
that was such a fabulous time.
uh, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. All right, not to mention you get this really nifty, nice program. When I got it home, I was like, oh my God, this is like too nice to throw away. And it really is a cool like keepsake. Um, it was held at the Hawthorne Hotel, and we got to attend several workshops during the day that were put on, presented by just some of the most amazing folks. I know the workshops that I attended, I enjoyed.
Oh
The
yeah, same. I got lots of good notes and lots of inspiration, so I
Yeah,
had lots of projects to play with when I got home.
it really did. It inspired me, re-energized me on a lot of things. Some of the folks I got to sit and chat with, you know, just being around other practitioners.
Right. And it was
Uh,
nice being able to like just be in physical space and put some faces to names of um, people that I've been following online and things like that. And also like some vendors, because I'm like, I don't trust people. Once I got into the jewelry industry, I'm like, I don't trust people. Everyone says it's the cream of the crop stuff and they sell you crap. But I'm just like, so I very much like to vet my vendors. And no, I got to meet what's Phytonosis. He has a shop that he sells like incense and different resins, and he makes sure that they all come from like really good ethical sources and that they're sustainably harvested and all of that. And he also just makes some really good smelling incense, and he also makes magical ink, which was really cool. That's what he did his class on, was the ink
Was
workshop. Yeah.
I wanted to go to that one, but there was other. My biggest complaint was that there was good classes at the same time.
Right.
I mean, where
But
I was just like,
thankfully, all the classes, like they're recorded, and so we have links to all the stuff that we
what?
couldn't attend in person, which was very smart on
And
their
picking
part. I
which ones, yeah, I
appreciate.
wanted, but you brought up the point of in person. Once it, because a lot of people that where I order my magical supplies from are people I know, people I've been in space with, and that, I know where their intentions are, that they're creating magical ingredients. They're just not running an industrial assembly line slapping a label on crap.
Right.
Because unfortunately that is in community, where it's just, profit. How can the cheapest stuff I can get out for the maximum amount versus actual craftspeople who truly create magical
Right.
items.
Like Jeremy, this is not his main gig. He's a like a professor. He teaches at an academic level, and so like I trust his his interpretation of some of the more dry academic stuff that I don't have really time for. Um, but also he was talking about in his class, like, he's spent like 8 years working on some of these recipes before ever making them available, because he wants to make sure that it's a good product,
All right,
essentially.
I'm going to pause real fast. We've got a couple of comments in the chat and then one question, actually. First, Damina, the Wittress says, love your top, Taryn, which is a great shout out. This is actually one of the shirts you can get at our shop, houseofwitchcraft.com shop. It says, you're not worth the ingredients. And then Taryn had fun cutting it up. And then Marie Louise says, hey, witches. And then we got Miss Aqua Lauren here talking about making ink, asking, can you make ink? Or I wasn't paying too much attention. Were you guys talking about ink
Oh,
making?
Yeah.
one
Oh
of the
yeah, she's excited about that. Talk about that.
yeah, one of the vendors.
I mean, she has a question about that. Good. Prompting
You
an
can
answer.
actually make
Talk
ink
about that.
any type of a permanent dyeable. You can also make it out of something that's not permanent, indelible. But at the conference we were at was someone who this is his passion, his art form, and had presented a class on creating ink and how,
Yeah,
for
and
us,
to
it, go
if you
ahead.
do want to, I was just gonna say, if you do want to dive down kind of like the rabbit hole that he's exploring, um, the ink recipes that he first started with were from the Picatrix, which is a rather well-known um, old grimoire,
Yeah,
and I cannot remember the name of the other scholarly source that he referenced, but um, I guess it was originally uh what's the right script that it was in, language, Arabic.
yes,
Yeah. So it was originally in Arabic, and I guess some of the more popular translations were like third, fourth hand translations where it had been translated into like German and then to English or something like that. But this professor actually is going straight from the Arabic to English translations, and her recipes, like she speaks Arabic as a native speaker, number one, so that helps. And she's she does something scientific with ink, like the study of inks and how they
Yeah.
work.
Theodore is asking, is it Pix? I'm gonna just spell it because I can't say this word. Picarrix. Pixarix. I need help.
The Picatrix, is that what?
That word. That's probably it.
it's one of our ancient grimoires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, And in it, there's recipes for inks to write different symbols for different spirits to use in their evocations.
Yeah,
And
she was saying she didn't know you could make it like you make candle stuff, which is cool, which I didn't either. I'm also learning this right now.
And that's
yeah,
why we go to workshops and we go listen
Yeah.
to. It's not about being the smartest witch in the room. It's about sitting beside them.
right.
And that all of us have these different rabbit holes, these different passions. And
Hmm.
you have the privilege of sitting next to somebody that it's their passion. This is what they're doing because they love it. This is an
Right.
expression of their magic. And for many of the folks, almost an expression of their spirituality, their relationship with divinity as they know it. It becomes very
Hmm.
deep, their craft. And when you get around someone like that and you have the opportunity to buy their bundle of incense, I
Hmm.
mean, you're talking about some of us old witches, we'll go through an obstacle course for that stuff.
Right.
Hmm.
All right, we're talking the good shit here, and I want it. All right, I'm gonna, tackle your ass to get to it. Um,
Hmm.
but how important it is to know where you're getting your ingredients, materials, items, candles, whatever you're using.
Hmm.
Just know your source. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying, I am very proud of my dollar store source as well, because
Uh-huh.
there
Oh
are
yeah.
items there that I go to buy. I have a list of things to put in my basket, and making sure that, spend your money wisely for the good stuff. And where you know that,
Hmm.
you
It's
know,
funny that you say that because I'm always like, if I need a candle holder or a fire safe dish or a bowl or something, I'm like Dollar Tree. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But if I'm I made an incense that it's a burnt offering to the land spirit, and I'm like, no, I need the good ingredients for that.
Some things you do, yeah. There are certain things like I remember before I get to the next round of chat stuff, I had this river down by my house and it was beautiful and it was this gorgeous stream, not entirely too easy to get to, but you can get to it. And it was snowing, like actively snowing, but also I live in Colorado, so we're sunny. So that means like the river was still flowing, it wasn't frozen over. And it was the Feast of Hecate last year. And I remember saying like I wanted water from a spring for this working that I was doing, or not a spring, but flowing water. And I just begrudgingly like stomped down there in the snow because I had to walk a little bit to get to it. I'm like, I had to have a homie standing and holding me as I'm like leaning in so I don't fall in. And I just remember thinking, I'm like, only for Hecate, only for Hecate.
Right.
But real fast, so we have Miss, I hope I'm saying this right, A Lynn in the chat, who is one of our new 13 Moon members. So hello, hello, welcome to your first 13 Moons Witchy chat. This is our little chaos hour before we actually get into the Zoom at 8. And then I do believe, yeah, Marie Louise came in saying the Picatrix, which I think is the spelling, so that's awesome. And then Aylin also says Salem is a blast. You'll hear all about that, I'm sure. The witches are going to go into more of that. And then we have Anana, the cosmic goddess, said, I absolutely love you guys. You can feel the energy you share. It's awesome. I've been taking a break from my practice, but ready to dive into it again. So I thought you guys are perfect to watch. That was just such a sweet comment. Thank you so much. Oh, I messed it. I messed up my headset. And then last thing, we're talking about the Dollar Tree, and Miss Fee or Miss Aqualore says we gotta find a new dollar store since it's not gotta find a new. I can't see that. I'm messing that one up. We're skipping that one for now, Miss Aqualore. I can't see that one. Why is it doing that? We're having some tech. We're trying our best, okay? This is our third live. How do I make that come back up?
we're doing.
Gotta find a
Five
new
points deducted
store
from
since
Gryffindor.
Dollar Tree ain't dollar anymore. Yeah, now it's like a $1.25, $1.50 store. That is kind of rude. I had to
And
like
I
re-click
do
to get out of
also
there.
know a lot of other magic folk who like, thrift shopping.
Mhm.
Oh
With, like you
yeah.
were talking about candle holders, fireproof bowls, pretty little bowls, plates, little. Yeah, I mean, I have a set of really pretty little. I think they're custard dessert bowls, but they're pretty little crystal bowls, and I love to use them to put my little when I'm making pretty little like flower offerings or I'm doing something. I love these little bowls, and I got them up at the dollar store over at the clearance bin. in the dollar store.
Yep.
I can find some nice stuff in
So,
the
or not
at
dollar
like
store,
thrift
but thrift
stores.
store.
Yeah.
At I think I was at the Community Thrift was the name of the place, and I was in their clearance section. I'm like, these are perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and
Love
have
thrifting for the altar and different things. It's so convenient.
Right.
I
And it feels
also
like it has a little bit of history to it too.
I like the idea of the journey that the item has took to be sitting there right in that moment for me to pick it up.
Yeah.
It's because I know it has, like you said, it's history, a whole story behind it, and memories and energies. And when you find those right happy little pieces, because you also will pick up something and be like, yeah, I ain't taking that home. Because it's just got some sort of icky feel to it.
Or maybe you buy that for a friend and leave it on their door. I don't
That's right.
know.
For people you don't like, you'll be like, here, I got you a Christmas present.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
So, Tesseract, I already looked up that author you were talking about with the inks and stuff. I'm gonna look and see if they have anything for pokeweed because I've tried to make it 2 times and it just keeps turning brown after. Like I've tried it with different ingredients. It just seems to have that issue over and over again. I don't know if it's just naturally because of the age. Because I add vinegar and stuff, you would think it'd stop it, but it doesn't seem to. It has
Yeah, I
a
was
really
gonna
lovely
say
like
usually
purple color.
the acid's what does it.
Well, try a natural acid, squeeze lemon juice into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
experiment with different types of acids,
Hmm.
or you might want to get like one of the things that he recommended was to get like a pH testing kit so that you can see if the acid needs to be increased or a base added.
That's
Oh,
smart.
that is smart.
Yeah, because I know he said it has something as far as the colors, it has something to do with the tannins. So like wine makes a good ink. Like red wines make a good ink because they have lots of tannins. Um,
They stay
but
in the front of wood really good.
yeah.
Yeah, I know
Um,
I tell people I
historically,
don't
like,
have red lipstick. I just drink a lot of red wine.
right.
I know historically they used to take the pokeweed like berry and use it as an additive dye for wines, like back in the Victorian era. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
curious. How did they figure out how to keep that
How to-
color?
yeah, how to keep it from oxidizing.
You
Witchcraft.
know, that's where you would have really enjoyed. What was it? Who who taught the class the walk we went on?
Oh, the walk was Rebecca Byer, I think was her name.
Oh my gosh, she was amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
she lives the life out in, the side of the Appalachian Mountain in a semi off the grid type, where they grow their food. But her
Mhm.
wealth of knowledge on a scientific level, she like knew all the Latin names, everything. And she was also very down to earth and approachable.
Is
You
she,
gotta be,
I
you can't
was
be uptight if you're learning Latin. That's an annoying language. You gotta be a little go with the flow if you're gonna learn Latin.
I
I,
really liked that like she like y'all know how I get when I talk about crystals, but that's how she was about plants. And like she could go down the rabbit hole and get really into the weeds with it, no pun intended, or actually all puns intended. Um, but at the same time, she was making comments about like you don't even need to be able to read in order to identify plants and live off the land. Like there are ways to talk about plants that you don't need advanced language or any real language to communicate if something is beneficial or poisonous. Um, so she was very like down to earth practical with it, like actually out in the fields doing it, not just
yeah,
in
when she was
books.
talking about how to harvest it, process it, and eat it, it's
Mhm.
because she's done that.
Yeah. She's
Where
like, you
she's
can eat it or you can dry it and make baskets with it and make really nice baskets actually. Like I bet it
yeah,
does.
she starts telling you stories about what they're doing at her place. And again, the opportunity to sit with somebody who's practicing. This is their
Mhm.
life, this is their passion. And just listening to I could have followed her
And
around.
definitely,
I'm
like,
just
anyone
her
that's
wealth of
watching,
knowledge.
like, definitely, like, go check out her website. She has all kinds of, like, little inexpensive PDFs about identifying plants and how to essentially how to be more plant conscious and plant aware.
I need that because I ended up getting myself unbelievably sick and with this almost like sinus infection where I thought I was gonna like die because I didn't know the difference between chamomile and fleabane or whatever it's called because they look similar. And so I just stuck there and I stuck my face right next to it and I just started plucking for like 20 minutes straight, just plucking this big patch that I had because my gardener was going to come. So I'm plucking and plucking and getting it all in my face and in my face. And then I like I've never had allergies swell up to where like I thought I was going to die. And it was awful. And then apparently that's because I learned it was this thing called fleabane, which some people have a really awful allergic reaction to. And I did. And it was for like 2 days straight. So maybe the plant thing is good. We got a couple chats first. Fee's asking what the website was, so we'll get that website eventually, but or at some point. But Aylin mentioned, and I think this is a very good topic too. So when we were talking about like Dollar Tree and thrifting and all that, Aylin mentioned, speaking as someone who knits and has received many compliments for my work, it's nearly impossible to sell my work for what it's worth because people are so used to mass market prices. I understand why people look for the cheapest option in this economy. I do too on a lot of things, but it also means handcrafts are frequently undervalued or people get sticker shock, which I'm not sure. Oh, I think shocked at the sticker. Yeah,
I do think
it
that
is unfortunate.
I do
Absolutely.
think that we see a lot, and this was some that you find within most of the folk magic community, we don't get sticker shocked as much when we're dealing with another practitioner.
Mhm.
I expect to pay for product. I expect to pay for services. I just need you to be fair about it. And at the same time, for it to be fair for you. Um, I think that there was this, and if I get in trouble for what I'm getting ready to say, oh, well, I think the community, magic community, suffered with the idea of the Wiccan, neo-pagan, we don't charge anything. It's magic supposed to be free. We're supposed to be a gifting community. And I think that when, sometimes these two worlds collide.
I feel
Uh,
like for like your friends
and
and
they get
family to
sticker
be in that
shock.
giving, but not in
and
But
every like yeah.
in the folk magic conjuring community, it's always cost. If
True. And I guess
all
I
right,
I
where
was
if
just
somebody
thinking like a
tells you
casual
that
tarot
I'm
reading,
doing
but you're right, yeah.
it's always, if you tell me you're doing a love work and you need to have a couple $100 in your pocket, right? Just to start with. We all know that. That's never open for discussion. All right. If I need a good jar that's been worked on hard, I may have to make installment payments. Um, the, Within the folk magic community, there's always been some sort of more of, even if it was a barter service, there's always been an acknowledgement
Yeah.
of goods. And so within that community, I don't think they get as much sticker shock. And like we were talking, when the college professor's incense, that ain't the cheapest incense at the market. More than likely, it's the most expensive, if not twice as much as everything else. But he'll sell his stuff out because we know it's the real stuff, and that's what we're willing to pay for. So if you slowly build a reputation of a good quality product with fair prices, and people will pay for it.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, I think some of our new ager, more, giving blanket atmosphere and, free tarot card readings for everyone really skewered the community with not understanding that there's value in this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Magic.
on TikTok especially, I've seen different people talk on both sides of it where there's some people who will just do it for fun for free, and then there's other ones who take it quite seriously and are like talking about, hey, I don't get as much business now, or I don't get as much recognition because they're just going to this person who's, using a VTuber VChat thing and just reading them for fun. So that I don't think it's controversial what you're saying, Taryn. I totally
You.
agree.
I mean, And if you are, wanting to develop as a reader a good clientele, I mean, I read tarot cards for a very, very long time. All right. And I wasn't on the internet, I wasn't on TikTok. My calendar was full. And that was because my clients brought me other clients. If you're good at what you do, you get referrals. People love to go tell their friend what they just found out. And now their friend wants to have a reading. And so it's, if that's something that you're wanting to do, it's one client at a time. And it's, I mean, my first 10 years, I wasn't very successful at it. The last 10 years, I was pretty darn good at it. That's where my client list was full and where, I did charge a substantial amount of money, but that's because I already had, 10 years as a professional reader and then, probably 15 years of that as an amateur reader before I ever got to that point. And I think people think that they're going to take a 6-week course and they're going to be their new full-time job. And I'm telling you, no, it's not. We see that the little.
I think that sorry, not to cut you off or anything, but like if you're wanting to make it a full-time job, like because there's more than just readings to do in the world of witchcraft. Like you have, if you want spirituality to be your full-time job, then you have to like diversify. You'll probably be making multiple products, teaching classes, hosting one-on-one sessions.
You're going to be working 60 hours a week.
Yeah, because it's just like any other business.
Yeah.
But there are other things like in the magical community, like so I love jewelry. Jewelry's my thing. I got started with gemstones and then I fell into the world of jewelry. And I don't know, I feel like the magical market is very similar to the jewelry market in that there is something available for everyone at any price point. You just
That's
have to
true.
understand as a consumer if you're getting something like if you're not paying a whole lot of money for it, you're probably not getting a very high quality product. That goes for services, products, classes, experiences. That's like typically the higher the dollar value, the better the experience, because the more that they try to put into it to make you feel like you're getting the most out of it.
Yeah.
And this is more
That's my business mind starting to go.
yeah, I'm thinking, if you none of us here are, well, Autumn's a full-time crafts person.
Right.
The
Presenting
rest
some
of
of her
us,
beautiful artwork.
we
Or we
love
love
what
Oh,
to
she
you
share.
can't
does.
see it.
I spend all
We
day
have,
uploading stuff.
where, for me, witchcraft's my passion, not my profession. I run the House of Witchcraft as close to a nonprofit as I possibly can. All right.
Without
I'm
officially
not
doing paperwork.
without it,
I might
right.
start selling incense just because I can't stop making it.
Right. Yeah. Where, like you said, a lot of us do have daytime jobs and do little things on the side. All right. You know, and that there's all different types. That if you think you're going to take this on as a full-time job and, retire, you're not.
It is unfortunate. It's something that if I've always said, I wish I could be a millionaire because I would love to spend all my money on my friends' shops and, let them retire and things
Right.
like that. That would be the dream. If I ever win the lottery, you
I
all
like
better
that.
drop me your Etsy shops because I'm gonna redecorate my whole house with it. I do want to
Just
jump
give me
in.
your
So we
catalogs to order from. Like
Well, where it's like,
exactly.
I did finish it off with understanding some of our most notable people within community in recent history have been trust fund babies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They weren't making a living off of their magic as much as they already had the money in the bank. I mean, Aleister Crowley was a trust fund baby to the point he emptied his trust. Gerald Gardner, trust fund baby.
I also realized someone brought up a point. We haven't introduced the floating voice. So because she doesn't have
Oh,
her video on, Autumn is coming in as a floating voice on the live stream for all of those who hear
Oh,
I'm even
oh,
more
this.
ethereal
the
now.
voice.
This is our sweet Autumn Stormcaller. She's one of our black hats within the House of Witchcraft. But yes, I did to address the floating voice in the room is Miss Autumn.
Yeah, not all of our folks have their cameras
wait,
on, which I think every
I'm pinning her for a second. Can you all see her beautiful artwork?
It'll take me a second to be able to see because the live is a couple minutes
yeah,
behind,
it's
but
just
we'll leave it pinned just in case while I read the last few chats to give it a chance to see because yeah, it takes a couple seconds for it to pin. But
Okay.
Aylin actually says she used to be a member a few years ago, back in 2022, but unfortunately things were busy, so she was only there for a couple book clubs. So welcome back home, Miss Aylin. Excited to have you. And then let's see. She also said that Costco has these desserts that have these little glass dishes, and she uses them for. I don't think it's sharing, Tessera, but she uses
Yeah.
them for ritual and witchy stuff. Brilliant, recycle, reuse. We love it.
I like
And
the
then
fact that there's stuff in your dessert dish.
that is nice too, right? And then I think Dalton is here, another one of our 13 Moons members. Hello,
Hey.
Dalton. And he says he thinks it's funny when people try and argue with the cards.
Yeah, they do. That is funny when
Mhm.
that happens because you're just like, yeah, okay.
Right. Now,
But
I do want to also introduce to Miss Taryn, if you want to start shifting the topic towards tonight for the, like I said, so
yes, yes,
welcoming everyone
yes.
again. We've got a couple more people in our room tonight watching live. So this is the House of Witchcraft once a month open chat. We are experimenting with going live. And then we do have, I figured out what it's called in the app. If you go under YouTube, the Taryn's page, House of Witchcraft, where it says posts, we have the link there at 8 o'clock in 28 minutes. We are going to shut the live down and we are going to switch over to our Zoom room where we do our once a month open House of Witchcraft witchy chat. We open it up to the entire House of Witchcraft community. So if you've got friends interested or if your coworkers curious about crystals, something like that, shoot them over our link. This is our time to kind of meet people and also just to see what we're about. And so, on that note, tonight's topic is going to be about the 13 Moons to the Crossroads program. That is our virtual coven that we have. We meet every Thursday and then also once a month for meditations by Tessera and the Five Goddess Chat by Miss Nazira, who's not here yet. But so we do tons of stuff, rituals, guest speakers, classes, all kinds of things. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And then we are also going to give y'all a nice, fun little preview where we are going to be doing our homework review a week early. Because we have we have the equinox. Anyway, semantics. We're doing our homework a week early and we're going to be going over that with Miss Taryn. So on that note, we were going to start talking about the topic tonight, which was, I believe, ritual writing, ritual making. What was it officially, Taryn?
All right. Tonight we're going to continue exploring the art of ritual.
That's what it is.
In the magical community, ritual is not just ceremony, it's intentional action with meaning. When we step into ritual, we step into sacred space, a space where our intent takes on power. And so we're going to walk through parts of what does ritual mean in the magic community. Ritual is more than a ceremony or a performance. It's a deliberate weaving together of words, actions, symbols, and energies to align the unseen and the seen. A ritual is both a container and a bridge. It holds our focus and it connects us to powers beyond the ordinary into the realm of the extraordinary, into the space where we can shift the universe slightly from left to right. You know, skip the scales in our favor just a tad. And when we talk about this is both a container and a bridge, it is something that gives structure to our magic. And at the same time, it connects us to powers beyond ourselves. Without intent, ritual is an empty theater. With intent, ritual becomes transformation. Even a single candle lit with focus is a ritual act.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like I said, the container, ritual gives structure. It marks the shift from an everyday space to a sacred space. It's a bridge. It connects the practitioner to divine forces, ancestors, spirits, entities, or even their own internal power. Most importantly, ritual is intentional action with meaning. Without intent, like I said, it's just a good old theater there. And then when we put intent behind it, even the smallest act, lighting a candle, pouring water, becomes a powerful and magical ritual. So, what I want to ask you real quick is when you hear the word ritual, what images or feelings come to mind? What do you think first?
My first image immediately and my feeling was the warmth around a bonfire, but that's because you spoiled us.
No, I'm with you on that. That was me too, is dancing around the fire and building energy.
Yes, exactly. That's a great one. Building energy. What about you, Tessera?
No, I actually went the other direction. It was more of the cool air and the tingly, but still around the bonfire.
There
I
you
guess I'm
go.
further away from the bonfire than you guys.
Y'all are
What about you,
spoiled.
Autumn? What did you feel, Miss Autumn? If
Husband
we have,
was talking to me. I'm sorry.
when you think of the word ritual, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Thoughts and feelings.
Also, the bonfire and me throwing the wood in from that I used to harvest in Julian on Grandma's property.
Yep, you did bring good wood. That was always
Yeah,
nice,
that was really nice.
right?
All right.
I think
Well,
I associate the cooler air just because I grew up in South Carolina and like on the coast, Charleston area. And so when I would go out at night, you'd get that cool coastal breeze. And
mhm.
so I always remember that kind of as when I was my
So
first rituals.
also, anyone in the chat, if y'all want to put in the chat, I'll read your answers out. What we're talking to y'all too. Y'all are in the room
Oh
here with
yeah,
us. When we say ritual, what do you think of? What's the first thoughts that come to your mind? What's the first feelings? We'll kind of give it a second to let the chat catch up, because we're like a minute behind the chat. But
yeah.
yeah, if y'all start putting your answers in the chat, I will shout them out.
We can go back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to continue with
Mm-hmm.
intent
Mm-hmm.
is at the heart of ritual.
I'll agree.
Every ritual, doesn't matter what ritual you're doing, begins with the one question: why? Why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
That answer is your intention.
Mm-hmm.
It is your compass, it's your fuel, it's your anchor. And
Mm-hmm.
intent is the compass that directs energy. It is the
Ooh.
difference between a candle lit for ambiance and a candle lit for healing. Ritual
Mm-hmm.
magnifies and channels that intent, but you have to have an intent. If you have a vague intent, guess what? You get scattered results. If you have a clear and focused intent, you get potent results.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also about keeping it simple. All right. This is almost like writing a charm. I call peace into my home. I strengthen my courage. These statements of purpose are my intention. This is what's going to fuel the rest of my work. This is
Mm-hmm.
how, when we talk about what are we creating, how do we know what you create? We start with again, the very first thing you need to be asking: why am I doing this?
Yeah. All right, we got a couple cool answers, so I'm going to start shouting them out. So we got
Got
Keith
something to share about
Lexon, who
intention.
says, personally speaking, ritual to me means respect, not only for what you're doing, but also building intention. Miss Nikki, another 13 Moon members. Hello, Miss Nikki in our chat. She says, what up, witches? I think of robed figures and a bonfire in the woods. So you're on the bonfire team with the rest of us. Perfect. Miss Aqualore, again, another beautiful 13 Moons witch, says candles in the dark with focusing with a goal in mind. So intent, like Taryn's talking about. And then Miss Yael from our cottage. Oh, love you to pieces. She says, ritual to me, an energy opening, a feeling that something grand is happening, being present. And then we've got Anana, the cosmic goddess again, says, ritual to me equals pure raw energy. I pictured the cosmos reacting and formulating to direct my energy and intentions. Damn, what a sentence. I see
I
this
know.
energy
I was like,
as
we need to be writing this down.
right? And then, oh, we've got another 13 Moons member, Miss Sativa, in the chat. Hi, Miss Sativa. We see you. She says, my first ritual was here in the house. So calling in the corners at Imbolc was also therapy. I claimed my witch name Sativa. Oh, beautiful. That was a beautiful witch name. Thank you guys so much for putting that in the chat. We're going to move on to the intent, to keep going with the intent one, but keep sharing
You,
stuff in the chat. This is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
I think so many of you already said it, intent.
Mm-hmm.
And the key to a good intention, keeping a clear and focused intent so we can get these potent and responsive results, is to keep it simple. All right. This isn't making large, pages of flowery rhyming prose. All right.
Although I will argue rhyming does help, not because witches drop bars and it's fun, but because it's a
That's
way to build energy. But that's a
and
different
that
TED Talk.
is great. But when we are first, we need a good, simple, clear statement of intent.
Yes.
What am I doing? Why? I welcome peace into my home. I call forth courage into myself.
Mm-hmm. I
All
saw Miss
right.
Tazira had her hand up. Do you
I
have something for intent?
something to add. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm
Yeah,
working
we're
on
in conversation mode.
that's what I needed to know. Okay, cool. So I'm working on doing like a road opening spell for myself, and I'm working on keeping my petition very simple. The one of the examples that was given was, I just want happiness. That's what I learned at the event. And now so I'm kind of working on like keeping it super simple.
We need to have a clear statement of intent in simple words. Now, once we have that, for those of you that need your flowery poetry and prose, now you can take that simple statement and take it wherever you need to. All right. I respect the whole rhyming. And we have some very talented witches in the house. I love some of the things they write. But to start with, again, that clear, simple statement of intent. All right. Now, once you say it, like, I welcome peace into my home. When we say it out loud, it shifts the energy. Do many of you as well feel that difference when we talk about the power of writing things down versus, and then when we say things out loud? Which one do you like? Which one do you feel? Which one do you feel the shift of energy?
I like to write it down first. I kind of mull it over to get my words right. And then I can repeat it and talk it and yell it and bring it to life.
Oh, I love that, where we talk about when we put it to voice, that it's not just we're sitting there saying it. Sometimes you do need to yell it.
Mm-hmm. Tesseract, did I see your hand up?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was just, as far as like the simple statements and simple intentions, like I love a good short and sweet, keep it simple, stupid. And I feel as though that works really well. There, what's the way I'm trying to say this? To have a nice short and sweet intention is great, like super love that, but also having that energy of just like trust in the universe, like trusting in the process that, it, like the universe has your back kind of thing whenever you're
Mm-hmm.
setting that intention. And I only say this because I've known some people to give out like some like words of caution, and it plants this little like subconscious thought of, like might be opening yourself up to something if you don't specify, like, you'll get that piece, but it'll be at the cost of your neighbor, like, or something crazy like that. Um, and so it's like if you have any kind of doubts, reservations, anything like that hanging out in your subconscious mind, work through that first and then do your stuff.
I like that
Don't have
caveat.
that energy of fear when you go into a ritual. Have
Yep,
that.
make sure you got the phraseology right.
Right.
Well, it's like your phraseology doesn't have to be like super specific as long as you have that energy and that knowing of
Right.
trust in the universe and trust in spirit. Um,
Faith. And faith is can be so hard. And it's so funny. So I'm a very type A controlling person, working on it in therapy, but that's who I am. So the concept of just having faith in something, even me as a witch practicing for however long I have been with all of my different spirits that I have, the concept of giving something up and just having faith is one of the, I think, hardest, like physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, all the things. It's like one of the hardest things for me to do. And I've only done it on a handful of times where I actively remember like completely giving myself up. And lo and freaking behold, is every time I've done that, the universe provided exactly what I needed, when I needed, how I needed it. You'd think I'd learn, apparently not. But I'm again working on it in therapy. But yeah, that concept of having faith, that is, I just want to sit here and take a second to acknowledge that if you guys have struggle with, like, our general, we're here with the whole house tonight. So all of our live people, if you guys ever experience that internal struggle with having faith, that doesn't entirely mean that you're being a bad witch, you're being a bad practitioner, you're being a bad magical being, whatever name you classify yourself as. It's natural to kind of struggle with that, especially if you are more of that type A type, who I'm kind of speaking to specifically. And so,
I was
work on it in your own journey, but it's a fun thing to note. The few times I've let it happen, it has beautifully given me everything in the world I needed.
I love that. Thank
I feel
you.
like that
That's
was like the book of type A. Like if there was a witchcraft Bible, Dana explaining it to type A people.
and it is where something very hard to do, and it is part of what we learn, especially in our own personal relationships with divinity.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, we have a question personally for Tesserath in the chat. Yale says, what do you do if you're not sure about what you want? And it's been a long time of not sure or knowing exactly.
Right. Yeah. So there's I've always got a book recommendation. Um one of the One of the things that I really enjoyed was a book called The Artist Way, and it's about how to essentially fall in love with yourself. Um, and so there is some, like you don't really know what you want outside of yourself until you know what you need inside of yourself. And so if there's like certain thought patterns and stuff that you're carrying around, certain memories and stuff that you kind of dwell on, maybe those things need to be either shifted a little bit or replaced, cleaned out, whatever it is. Um, and so like the book, it's called The Artist Way,
Okay.
and I cannot remember the author of it, which is terrible of me. Um,
It's okay.
but
Aqualore will find it. I bet you by
right.
the end of tonight, she'll have the Amazon link.
And
I
I think it's
bet you.
downstairs on the downstairs bookshelf. Um, but yeah, I think it starts off with like a lot of like self-discovery questions, and then essentially taking yourself out on a date and seeing, like, is this something I even like doing? I thought I would like doing it, but maybe I don't. Do some stuff that's outside of your comfort zone that, maybe you would like doing. And so it's a lot of that self-discovery stuff, which, that's what we like to do in our first year and a day at the house is all that good
Yes.
self-discovery stuff. So it's like, yeah, start inside, and then eventually you'll kind of figure out what jives with you and what doesn't. Oh, someone just put it in the chat. Julia Cameron. Thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
too perfect.
Yes, and Anana relates or Anana the Cosmic Witch says it's hard for me too. But this is so true, letting your guard down to let the universe flow. When you flow with the universe, everything comes into harmony, and what you want tends to come after. And I absolutely agree with that.
And it
Yep.
is very, very hard to do. And even after you've done it, like what you said, Dana, it doesn't mean you're like, okay, I'm always going to have faith, and you always do. That's, I think that we should question our faith. We should question our relationship with divinity as we know it. We should question everything. We should never stop questioning.
Yeah, Keith Flexen says, my faith is tested often, LOL. And I really relate to that. I grow in my older, I'm in my 50s. It comes easier. Yeah, I think we all feel that too. And then Ray Alexander says, hello, all. First time catching this. Hello. Thank you for joining us. We also want to say just a big thank you to everyone else in our live chat tonight. And Ray Alexander says, first time catching this and much respect to Taryn. Yes, we all love Miss Mama Taryn.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, we are going to hear in the next what time we have.
We have 10 minutes. This is going to be our last 10 minutes in the live chat, and then we're going to switch over to our Zoom. I'm going to say it probably one or two more times, but for anyone who just joined us, please, we welcome you to join us into our open witchy chat, which is going to happen in 9 minutes. The link to that is under the House of Witchcraft YouTube page under posts. You'll see our post there, and it has the link.
And you press it, and you don't even
press
have
the
to.
button.
And you don't even have to turn on your camera. You can just join us and listen and everything. We are going to continue with the art of ritual this evening, where we're going to be talking about, now that we figured out what we want, our intention, and that we are now going to do something with this intention. And part of an understanding how we're creating a magical ritual is that we are going to understand it's built upon two central movements of spirit. We are either invoking or we are evoking. And understanding what these are and how we're using them. When we're invoking, we're calling it in. It's to draw a force within yourself or a space you direct. This might be, the divine, an element, a deity, a desire, an attribute, or even a personal quality like wisdom. Invocation fills the space, the body, or the heart with the presence of that power. A really way to think about it is if I'm going to, and I can invoke fire to bring passion into a love working. The other one is evocation. This is calling forth to summon or call a spirit or force to appear outside of yourself, often for dialogue, direction, or partnership. Evocation recognizes the spirit as a distinct standing beside rather than within. All right, an example would be evoking an ancestor to guide and protect during a ritual. Now, these two movements form the backbone of any magical ritual you're doing. Every spell, every ceremony or working carry some measure of them, whether explicitly stated or symbolically enacted. All right, now I'm going to talk about how the difference where I can invoke a quality, meaning I can draw courage into my heart. I am invoking it to within.
Also remember, invoke with an I means you take it in self yourself, and evoke with an E is out of you. But that's a good way of remembering for our dyslexic people. If you're invoking with an I, you're taking it into yourself like I.
And and then I can take and I can evoke a presence where I can call upon the presence of courage to stand beside me.
Yes.
Now, remember, I can invoke, I can draw in courage into my heart, or I can choose to evoke the energy of courage to come and stand beside me. And I get to make the decisions which one I want to do. I can invoke fire, energy, fire, enter me and fill me with passion. I can evoke spirit of fire, stand with me in this circle. Again, which one do I want? Which one do I need? Which one am I going to help put that ritual? We're talking about how am I creating my spell work? How am I creating the framework of ritual? This is what we're doing. All right. And I would like all of you to sort of, what would I say? I draw courage into my heart. I call courage to stand beside me. Each of you to sort of say that to yourselves. And which one do you resonate with?
Ooh, so Aylin says, ooh, okay, yeah. Y'all are on my game page. Aylin, I'll read your other comments too, but she says someone once explained invoking to me as not being functionally different than channeling as far as invoking entities. That helped me keep the two straight. And then Ray Alexander, yes, that is exactly what I was trying to remember. I is for internal, E is for external, is how they
Oh,
remembered it.
yeah, external, good.
Exactly. And Anana the Cosmic Goddess asks where to find the link. So if you go under the House of Witchcraft YouTube channel, there's like those tabs you can scroll under where it says posts. Maybe Aqualore, actually, if you're still on the chat, can you just post our link to the chat real fast into this chat, maybe for everyone? But yeah, if you go under our posts, it is the most recent post on the community board. It has the Zoom link in there, but yeah, maybe I might try and be able to do it too. Aylin had some really good comments, and I'm gonna try and get to those, but let me try and do this tech thing first in case
And
Miss
I would,
Aqualore.
while you're doing that, I was going to say when we're talking about invoking or evoking and whether it's courage or peace or joy, it goes back to what is your intention. So you want to pull in what will help you manifest that intention.
Absolutely. And this is, you get to decide. There is no ancient grimoire that says what your magic is.
Yeah. And it can be different on different days. What you need on a different day, according to the moon, where you're at.
Right. You may want to have it fill the space, or you may want to have it fill you. And understanding the difference so that you can create the most potent ritual working ceremony, spell work, whatever you're doing, but that you can create the most potent and powerful working that you're doing. And it's knowing if you're evoking or invoking. Did you get it done, the technicals?
I think I did the technicals. I think I posted it in the chat. But
Well,
yes,
we
hopefully,
tried.
right? We're trying. We're trying. We have one tech savvy person out of the whole group, and bless her heart. Actually, I would say two, because Tesseract comes in for the save, but Tesseract and Aqualore are tech savvy people in the group in my mind. Those are the ones who know how to do the things.
Don't tell anyone it worked. I was a Salesforce architect.
Right? He's like,
Whatever.
you keep it sacred, keep it secret.
Don't tell.
I would say I'm tech savvy, but I was editing a video recently. I'm like, how do I chroma key this green screen? I took like an hour, gave up the next day. I'm like, oh, I'm stupid. There's literally a button right here that says key.
Oh, Autumn is I will say too, actually, Miss Autumn Stormcaller, if you can find her on social media, definitely follow her TikTok. She makes brilliant, you are very tech savvy when it comes to the tickety talkities. I will say that. You make some really cool videos and you
Oh,
do cool edits.
I was going to say, even the best of us have moments. Excuse me.
All right, guys, we're down to our last minute. So again, we hope to see you all. It looks like we got okay, sweet. So they got the link in the chat. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna see y'all over in our 13 Moons witchy chat, our open chat, where we invite the House of Witchcraft members to our first Thursday of the month. We're gonna be talking about ritual, homework, 13 moons, all kinds of fun stuff. And so we really hope to see you guys over there. And if not, we will see you same time, same place, first Thursday of the month. We're going to be going live again at 7 p.m. on the YouTube channel. So thank you guys, everyone, your sweet, sweet comments in the chat. We see each and every one of you. We try and get to all of them. Sometimes we can't, but thank you guys so much just for being this amazing community.
All right, everyone, get out there, fly your brooms, have a bright, blessed day. And as always, amen, blessed be, ashe.